Tonight on SUTV News, 2 more residence halls face some rainy day blues.
And yet another luxury fashion brand is facing backlash for their merchandise.
All that and more right now. Thanks for joining us on SUTV News. I'm Avery Quinn.
And I'm Isabella Marcelino. Last week we told you about the Noggle Hall flooding. 1 week later, and 2 more residence halls are facing the same unfortunate fate as Noggle Hall. SUTV's Tyler Danceson has more.
On Saturday, February 2nd, around 3 p.m., McCune Hall residents were forced to evacuate the residence hall due to a fire drill. However, this was no ordinary fire drill. A water pipe had broken on the 4th floor of the building and triggered an alarm to go off. Students were taken to Harley Hall as the situation was being dealt with and as maintenance crews worked to resolve the problem. After an hour of work, residents were allowed back in the building. Fortunately, there was no extensive damage to the building or students' rooms. Hours after the events, students received an email from Residence Life stating, "As a result of the recent freezing temperatures within the past few days and the outside temperature warming up, pipe leaks are a current risk in McCune Hall. Please do not hesitate to notify a Residence Life staff member if you observe any water leaks in your residence hall." Students from each on-campus dormitory also received the same email. However, Harley Hall faced the same fate as McCune the very next day on Sunday. It was not the same outcome as McCune, however. There was some damage to students' rooms and some students were forced to move out of the rooms temporarily. With a risk of a water line break in the residence halls in Shippensburg University, the question is when or if the next one will happen. From SUTV News, I'm Tyler Danceson.
Students who are still waiting to return to their dorms have been relocated for the time being. Shocking allegations surrounding top officials continue to resonate this week in Virginia. These scandals potentially changing the faces of Virginia's government.
Now resign! Now resign!
Dozens gather outside of Capitol Square today with a concise message. They want Governor Northam to resign. Virginia Governor Northam said he was in this photo that appeared in his 1984 medical school yearbook. Now he insists he is not in the picture, but did admit to wearing blackface.
I did participate in a dance contest in San Antonio, in which I darkened my face as part of a Michael Jackson costume.
Other government officials making their opinions of Governor Northam very clear.
The key thing right now is Governor Northam needs to resign. There's no excuse for him not to. What he has said is completely disqualifying.
The president has said he thinks it's unforgivable, it's unconscionable. Or you can go back to his tweet and his words that this person apologized and then said, gee, it wasn't me, I didn't do it.
The second face of Virginia, Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax, now faces a sexual assault allegation. What began as consensual kissing quickly turned into a sexual assault. Mr. Fairfax put his hand behind my neck and forcefully pushed my head towards his crotch, claims Vanessa Tyson, whom he met at the 2004 Democratic National Convention. Fairfax released a statement in response, reading in part, "At no time did she express to me any discomfort or concern about our interactions." Then there's Virginia Attorney General Mark Herring, the next in line to the governorship, admitting Wednesday he too appeared in blackface at a party in 1980.
This has obviously been an extraordinarily challenging week for all Virginians, and I think regardless where we stand, I mean, there needs to be a moment of our Commonwealth coming together.
Within these controversies are heavy political implications as well, since the third in line to the governorship is a Republican, which would flip control of the governor's mansion. Virginia Attorney General Mark Herring has since apologized, calling it a one-time occurrence and saying, quote, "It was really a minimization of both people of color and a minimization of a horrific history I knew well even then."
February is Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. With Valentine's Day just a week away and many organizations such as Break the Cycle, domestic shelters, and many more circulating the red flags of abusive relationships. These early warning signs include constant threats, checking your social media and who you interact with, being physically aggressive, peer pressure, and even isolation. To view more information, a 24/7 hotline, and details on emergency shelters, go to domesticshelters.org. If you or someone you know is stuck in an abusive relationship, please speak out and break the cycle of domestic violence. The city of Shippensburg is full of local businesses. With so many to choose from, here is a tease from one of the local businesses that will be featured in the first ever Back in Business.
I just thought that we're really close to the campus and all the kids being around and late night partying. It's really close to where everybody is.
Tune in next week to find out more about the first Back in Business highlight. Despite a security funding plan, troops still face migrant caravans at the U.S.-Mexico border. CNN's Mary Maloney has more.
Troops stand guard as a massive migrant caravan arrives at the U.S.-Mexico border.
We've come in search of something better for our family.
Nearly 2,000 people want to seek asylum and enter the United States through Eagle Pass, Texas. But U.S. Customs and Border Patrol says it can only process 16 to 20 people per day.
At this point, the system is at a total capacity.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott sent about 500 state troopers to the border, and the Pentagon moved about 250 military members to the Eagle Pass area. Border security is a sticking point for Congress and the president. A funding deal needs to be reached by next Friday before part of the government shuts down again.
We need border security. We have to have it. It's not an option. Let's see what happens.
Lawmakers are also looking into the Trump administration's zero-tolerance illegal immigration policy, which forced thousands of migrant children from their families at the border.
I do not believe that separation of children from their parents is in the best interest of the child.
Last year, the government said more than 2,700 children were taken from their parents at the border. But this year, a Health and Human Services Inspector General report found that number was wrong, and thousands more families were actually separated.
To be clear, what happened to these children should never happen in this country.
In Washington, I'm Mary Maloney.
Gucci has removed a controversial item from their shelves. A black turtleneck called the balaclava knit top pulls up over the bottom half of the wearer's face. On the front of the hood is a pair of oversized lips printed where a person's mouth would be. The item was quickly removed from the website due to what many customers believe resembled blackface. Gucci apologized on Twitter Wednesday and stopped selling the sweater. The company also pledged to turn the incident into a powerful learning moment. This comes nearly a year after Prada faced similar criticism for merchandise that depicted monkey-like figures with black faces and large red lips. When we come back in world news, Paige has the tea about India's maternal mortality rate, and she kicks off our newest segment, SUTV Health Raid.
More flooding in residence halls, and students can find their zen with SHIP's newest yoga class. Brianne Shekel has more on this week's issue of the Slate. Scroll down. We apologize for technical difficulties. Coming up in the Slate's weekly edition Tuesday, we will give you the scoop on the flooding in the residence halls. Other stories include a feature at the Lurs Center, profitable year, a student starting her own yoga class on campus, and a feature on a field hockey player, Megan Hart. Be sure to pick up the next edition of the Slate in newsstands on campus, in the Cub, academic buildings, and the dining halls. Get your copy of Off Campus at Sheetz, Giant, or Select Diner, or visit theslate.com online.
One of the biggest countries in the world is seeing a population decrease. SUTV's Paige Ahrensmeyer has this week's world news. Paige?
Tea is one of the most popular beverages on the planet. The Indian state of Assam grows more than half its country's tea leaves. But it's recently been found working on a tea plantation has harmful consequences, particularly for pregnant women. These plantations often operate in extreme isolation with limited access to medical facilities and trained professionals. Several workers have come forward saying they are scared to give birth. Assam is the most dangerous place in India to be pregnant. For every 100,000 women who give birth, 237 die. That's almost double India's national average of 130 and above the world's average maternal mortality rate. Plantations operate under the 1951 Plantation Labor Act. It's meant to ensure rights including fair wages and access to health care. But a recent study showed low wages and only 27% of plantations have access to a delivery room. While awareness is just being brought to this problem, low literacy rates and inaccessibility show no promise for a solution soon. The world's most populated country is seeing a population decrease. Older adults in China are expected to live longer, and many young people can't afford to have more babies. In Chinese culture, it's traditional for adults to take care of their parents and in-laws once they reach a certain age. Being responsible for 4 older adults and a few children is proving to be a financial burden. While the age expectancy grows, so does the number of years these people need cared for. There were 2 million fewer births in 2018. Most studies agree China's population will soon begin to shrink. The government knows this, and the 2016 notorious one-child policy turned into a 2-child policy. But families are saying policy change doesn't reverse the fact it's too expensive to have kids. And lastly, for today, we have this week's health raid. Married couples are expected to live longer. New research published in the journal PLOS One shows married people are walking faster, living longer, and having tighter hand grip strength. It isn't fully understood how this happens, but fast walking is a good measure of overall health, and tight hand grip reflects upper body strength. But ladies, don't get too excited yet. These results have mostly been found in men. That's it for this week's World News. Back to you guys at the desk.
That's so frustrating that study only came back that men get to live longer than women.
Well, I'm pretty sure women live longer in general.
I think you're right. It's just a funny study. Well, when we come back in entertainment, Demi Lovato deletes her Twitter.
And for the first time in decades, the Oscars are going hostless.
Has this ever happened?
I gotta say, I love the warmer weather, but I can't stand the rain.
I know, I'm so sick of wearing this rain jacket. So let's send it over, and it sets, woo! I can't even talk, I'm so excited about weather. Let's send it over to Jillian to see what this week's weather is.
Coming into our 3rd week of classes, temperatures are going to start to feel a bit more like February as we move forward. So I hope you all enjoyed those warmer temperatures because they're not going to stick around with us too much longer. Tonight we'll be getting a low of 45 with some showers that will continue into the night. But then on Friday, we'll have a cloudy morning, but then it will give way to some sunshine with a high of 53 and then steadily decline to a low of 18. Then moving into our 5-day forecast, we're going to have a chilly but sunny weekend with Saturday at a high of 33 and a low of 14. Then on Sunday, we're going to have a high of 36 and a low of 27. And then we may even have some on and off snow heading our way for Monday. That'll give us a high of 38 and a low of 26. Tuesday will then remain much the same with snow and sleet at a high of 34, which will be going down to 26. Finally, the sky will begin to clear up on Wednesday with a high of 39, but we still have to keep an eye out for some flurries as temperatures will drop to a low of 18. So as long as you lay up for the warmer weather, hopefully we'll all be okay and we'll still be able to make it to class. And that'll do it for this week's weather. Send it over to Michael Smith with this week's entertainment.
Even though this year's big game didn't hold up to its normal standards, something else seemed to catch many viewers' attention. During the game, pop singer Demi Lovato tweeted a comment about halftime performer 21 Savage and immediately received backlash. Her tweet said, "So far 21 Savage memes have been my favorite part of the Super Bowl." Many found her tweet to be insensitive and cruel toward the rapper due to his current situation with immigration and customs enforcement. As of now, it stands that 21 Savage is in the U.S. illegally and may be deported back to his homeland in the UK. While Lovato clarified that she meant no harm, the angry tweet continued to pile up. This caused the singer to delete her Twitter account. 21 Savage has not publicly commented on the tweet, but it looks like Lovato won't be hearing the end of this for some time. Madonna will be honored at the 30th Annual GLAAD Media Award for a lifetime of accelerating acceptance of the LGBTQ community. The lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer advocacy group announced Tuesday it will present Madonna with its Advocate for Change Award. The 60-year-old singer is the second person and first woman to receive the award that honors a person who, through their work, changed the game for LGBTQ people. Madonna's support for the community dates as far back as the early 1980s, and she continues to be a pillar for equal rights to this day. Madonna will be presented the award on May 4th in New York. It's time to say goodbye to the Modern Family clan. The president of ABC Entertainment, Carrie Burke, said there will be more milestone events that anyone who has been a fan of the series won't want to miss. Although they have always had such strong ratings, the past few seasons hasn't been as strong as they would have liked. The cast and producers figured it's just time to finally make an end. They made this season have more real-life scenarios compared to the previous seasons. They've even been some talks of possible spin-offs in the series in the future. Ever since Kevin Hart stepped down from being the host, there has been rumors that the Oscars will have no host. The Academy has made it official. There will be no host for the first time in 3 decades. The last time the Oscars went without a host was in 1989, when producer Alan Carr decided to have more presenters instead of an MC. There will be a diverse array of presenters, including Whoopi Goldberg, Tessa Thompson, and many more. Tune in on February 24th at 8 p.m. to watch the 2019 Oscars. And send it back to the desk.
Avery, I can't believe they didn't call you up to ask you to host the Oscars. I mean, we all know Avery's a comedian on the side.
He's a pretty funny guy.
You know, I was open to booking. They could have messaged me at Avery Quinn Show on Twitter, but I didn't get
Follow
anything.
him.
Oh
He's so funny.
I know, right? Jake, what's going on with sports?
When we come back in sports, a recap of Super Bowl between Patriots and the Rams, and a swimmer gets Athlete of the Week. Find out who when we return. Sunday, the New England Patriots and the Los Angeles Rams faced off in Super Bowl 53. The Rams under coach Sean McVay were looking for their second championship in franchise history, while the Patriots were looking for number 6. Tom Brady looking laser focused before the game. Tom Brady, as I said, looking laser focused before the game. Rams just as well. As we head into the first quarter, first drive for the Pats. Brady's first pass attempt is tipped and intercepted by the Rams defense. The game, however, would be tied at 3 at halftime. Take you to the fourth quarter, Pats driving, and Tom Brady is going to throw a dime here to Rob Gronkowski down at the 2-yard line. Great catch, and Sony Michel, the running back, he's going to do the rest. Patriots are up 10-3. Now it's the Rams' turn. Quarterback Jared Goff with pressure in his face. He's going to throw it up in the air, and it is intercepted by the Patriots. Tom Brady, he is pumped, and the Patriots win 13-3. Patriots wide receiver Julian Edelman gets Super Bowl MVP. Here's head coach Bill Belichick on Edelman's performance.
Two physical teams. Who do you like for MVP?
Julian's, always gives us those kind of plays, tough catches, catch and run plays, breaking tackles for a few extra yards, third down. So, he did a tremendous job.
I mean, it wasn't pretty, but I'll take an ugly win over a pretty loss any day.
On Tuesday, the Patriots had their victory parade with all 6 Lombardi trophies present. And there's Tom Brady with the camo vest and sunglasses giving some waves. And you can't say party without Rob Gronkowski. Patriots, once again, on top of the NFL. Moving on to Ship Sports senior jumper Abby Wagner. She just put her name in the history books. At Penn State University, Wagner broke the school record in the triple jump with a mark of 40 feet, 10 1/2 inches. Wagner put together a strong performance in all 6 of her jumps, which helped her gain the confidence to eventually break the school record.
Just like going into the warm-ups, I felt really fast that day and I felt very powerful, and after the first jump I didn't think it was that great of a jump, and then I saw it come up on the board as 40 feet 6 and I was really surprised. I was really happy, and so after that I just really wanted to keep going further. And
Wagner's school record put her at number 2 in the nation in the triple jump. Now on to the men's side, sophomore Austin Padmore sets the school record in the 600 meters over the weekend at Penn State. Padmore, who is the returning PSAC champion in the 800 meters, now holds 2 school records, with the other being the 800 outdoors. The 600 meters, however, is not an event that they run at the conference championships, so Padmore, he used this to help with his other events.
This race actually really helps with my 800 and 400. My main event is the 800, and so running the 600 helps with my speed and endurance for the 800, and it also works my stamina for the 400.
Both Wagner and Padmore, as well as the rest of their teammates, will be back in action this weekend at the Virginia Military Institute Winter Relays. On to men's basketball. Men's basketball went 1-1 this weekend after playing back-to-back road games. On Saturday, Ship traveled to Kutztown and picked up an 87-77 win behind senior Antonio Kellum's career-high 31 points. Last night, Ship was back on the road at East Stroudsburg, and after erasing a 21-point lead in the second half, the Raiders came up short, losing 91-87. Senior Antonio Kellum and sophomore Jake Biss, they led the way, scoring 48 of the team's 87 points. Men's basketball will be back in action this Wednesday at 8 at home. Make sure you tune in to Campus Channel 82, Comcast Channel 21 for live coverage of the game. Senior guard Antonio Kellum was named PSAC East Men's Basketball Athlete of the Week on Monday for his efforts in the 87-77 win over Kutztown. Kellum scored a career-high 31 points and 8 rebounds in the victory over rival Kutztown. Kellum joins Jake Biss and John Costello to be the third Raider to get the Athlete of the Week this season. Now moving on to swimming, junior Jeff Beyer was named PSAC East Men's Swimmer of the Week for his performances this past weekend. At Bucknell, Beyer swam a personal best in the 50-yard freestyle with a time of 22.04 seconds. But Beyer was not done there. He also placed third in the 200-meter freestyle and fifth in the 500-meter freestyle, and he still wasn't done there. Beyer was a part of 2 Ship relay teams, helping the team place 7th in the 200 freestyle relay and 8th in the 200 medley relay.
I guess it just comes from the training, you know, like doing thousands of yards here is just to preparate like for a couple short swims once you're in a meet. If you have a bad swim, like the next one is just a whole new opportunity, and it's a whole new strategy every time. That if you have a bad sprint, at least you can come back in a distance event and kind of go at it in a totally different way.
Beyer and the rest of the men's and women's swimming teams will be back in action later this month at the PSAC Championships. And no stat of the week tonight, so let's send it back to the desk.
When we come back, Apple releases its newest emoji.
A new year means new emojis, sloths, butter, and underwear. Oh my. CNN's Jeremy Roth tells us more.
Good news, emoji users. You'll soon have more options than ever to dress up those text messages. More than 50 new emoji will be available starting in March. That's according to a final list from the Unicode Consortium, which is like the governing body over all things emoji. Many of the new images showing service animals, prosthetic limbs, and people with disabilities focus on inclusivity. Additionally, users will now be able to select the skin color and gender for couple emoji. There are also plenty of random silly images like sloths, waffles, coconuts, juice boxes, swimsuits, and underwear.
I am super excited about these inclusive emojis. I know you're probably very excited about one emoji.
Yeah, I love the yo-yo. I know I got a lot of hobbies, and I also really love to yo-yo. That's it for SUTV News. I'm Avery Quinn.
And I'm Isabella Marcelino. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at SUTV News, and check out our website, sutvnews.com.
We'll see you next week.